Welcome to the September edition of Campus Connections. It's hard to believe that here we are, September, the start of a new academic year. The halls are filled with excitement, with new students coming in, and everybody getting ready to start their academic year. In 1963, there was a set of students that also came to QCC and started their academic journey. I can't believe that it's 60 years since then, and we're now celebrating our 60th anniversary. We would now like to introduce people who have been here the longest, people who have been part of the 60-year journey of Quinsigamond Community College. Their story, their lived experience is part of our history and have enriched us. Let's listen to their stories.
I have been here since March of 1981, worked my way up through the ranks, sergeant back in 98, chief in 2005.
I started at QCC way back in 1981, so total of 37 years I've worked here. It was longer because I did work part-time, before 1981 I was only 20 years old.
So I've been at QCC since March of 1985.
I have been here 2 years part-time and 38 years full-time.
Quinsigamond Community College has been my home as of March 2023, 31 years.
I started in 1991 with QCC. I came in as a part-time employee, and by November of the following year, I went full-time.
I started to work at QCC in 1979. However, when my cousin graduated from high school, I was in the line for registration for her to go to classes in the fall of 1967. So although I wasn't working at Quinsig, I was on the campus on Belmont Street.
I was a student at Worcester State, and I worked here part-time, 4 to 7 at night for the Center of Lifelong Learning. And from 83 to 85, I worked over in the children's school, and I ended up applying for a job in the registrar's office. And I worked in that office for 30 years. Until 2016, a job became available up in the Dean's area, and I said, I think I need a change now.
I started here as a campus police officer. The positions I held within the department were bike officer, web design, Clery, emergency management.
Working in the business office, was a bookkeeper when I started. I've actually had 9 different titles. I oversee the full business office, so we work with payroll, purchasing.
I started off in the student life office, and then I went over to the Dean of Students office. President Curtinitis asked for the Phi Theta Kappa students to be active on campus, so I took that position. The Phi Theta Kappa students actually started the food pantry along with Dean Vecchio, and now I'm actually just mostly in the food pantry.
So when I first started, I was hired as an adjunct faculty member in social sciences. I then became the director of vocational education, and then I was hired as a full-time faculty member in the psych department, and I taught psychology.
I was a student here, then subsequently a full-time staff, and that's where I exercised the 31 years in various roles.
I was doing high-risk advising, that was during the summer, developmental math coordinator for 15 years. Other than that, just full-time math faculty.
They say that with every president comes changes. I've been here through at least 5 or 6 presidents. And so I've seen changes that have taken place that lead the college in different directions.
We've had some great leaders. Our presidents have really done our mission well, working for all our students.
The student volume. When I first started working here back in 92, I can say roughly about 800 students. Now we have over 10,000 applicants in financial aid alone.
The programs have changed so much, expanded so much. Our dental, our nursing. We had to open up a new location to have space on campus. Now we've opened up 3 or 4 campuses.
It was always a beautiful campus, but we've really changed with all the funding we received from the state and DCAM. We've added 2 buildings since I've been here.
I can remember my first few years, I used to teach a class on the 2nd floor of administration building. You just saw the ceilings. There were no drop-down tiles or anything. There was one printer in the hallway, and that was for everybody in the section.
And we've actually had a pool taken away. So the pool pool was located in the gymnasium, so we used to do a lot of swimming for our lunch breaks, which was really nice. We'd always come back with wet hair, and we were young, we were ambitious, always taking those classes.
So there were no computers like today. Everything was paper. So the students would fill out the registration forms. They'd stand in line and we would have to pull the printed cards. I mean, the whole line would be all the way down to the president's office.
Student services and communications. I can recall the time where we had over 500 students line up outside our door for service.
We had a library that was in the basement of the administration building that used to flood and the squirrels would run in and out of. We now have the Harrington Learning Center with the library and now this one-stop student center up on the hill.
As we got grant money, everything changed. All the upgrades that have happened along the way, it's just a lot different now than when it was when I first started. Surendra Singh was the academic VP. He charged me with creating a developmental math classroom. It was a nice situation. All the computers were set up around the perimeter of the classroom, so no matter where the faculty stood, you could see everybody and what they were doing. I was very much a key player in setting that all up, monitoring the tutors.
I think it was back in the 80s, and I wrote a grant and we got funded to open, at that point, the Students with Disabilities office. We did it on behalf of students, single-parent displaced homemakers out of high school, pregnant and parenting teens, training programs, one section in English and one section in Spanish. And I am so proud of Christy Proctor, Terry Rodriguez, and the whole staff that are there now. That was a legacy, so I'm very proud of that.
I would say coming up here to the dean's office, it was a big change for me. I was familiar with all the scheduling and everything, but didn't realize we had to deal with the payroll part of it or the RTEs and everything else that went with it.
Well, my highlight was being named chief. It's an honor, helping people feel safe and be safe. We've added the police academy. No other community college, no other state college runs a police academy like we do.
I'm very, very proud of what I've done with the Phi Theta Kappa students. I had 30 members when they gave that job over to me, and right now we have about 900 active PTK members. We are the largest chapter in New England. Actually, we're probably the largest chapter in the United States at this point. The other thing I'm very proud of is the food pantry. Everybody I work with is so proud of the Home Plate Food Pantry.
I think just my longevity here. I walked in 1991. I had been married for a year, no kids, came in never expecting that this was going to be my career for the rest of my life. The colleges have really allowed me to grow with that while still having a family and being able to do those things.
The ability to be able to give back, to be in the service position. I was empowered with knowledge. You're here to help others, empower others.
My hope is that the Home Plate Food Pantry would not be needed, but I don't know if that will ever happen. So I'm glad that President Pedraja has seen the need for this. And I hope that it keeps growing, which means we need bigger space, which we will eventually.
I know that the college, QCC, will continue to grow. Maybe more programs that would come to the school.
I'd like to continue the growth. Campus certainly needs to be updated. We would graduate maybe 200 or 300 when I first started. Now we're up well over 1,000 students a year graduating, and just continue that growth.
I hope that they continue with the innovation for student service and to continue empowering, the teaching and learning of our community.
I feel we're kind of the backbone that makes sure that everything works well. And I hope, doing the budget and making sure that we get the funding from the state that we need. I just want everyone to have that success.
I'd love to see Quinsigamond expand their territory and make this even a larger campus than it is. Parking was a major issue, so if we had more space, that would make it easier for the students.
I think the issue around equity and the issue around inclusion, I think those are important issues that not only this college needs to face, but the world in general. My sense is that we will excel at what we do.
I guess I've been lucky. I look forward to coming to work. I enjoy my job tremendously. I like working with the students. The faculty and staff here, they'll work with each individual student. You're not a number, you're a person.
I really enjoyed working with everyone here. They really do make it a family. Even new people that I've talked to have said they've come here and it's just different than other places that they work.
The opportunity that I was given to attend this college and then again to work in this college. And I am very proud of what we've accomplished and what we continue to do.
All the friends that I've met, all the people I've met, all the things I've learned from faculty and students, I can't say enough about them. I think of them as my family. I'm hoping to make it to 40 years if I can.
I will always be proud of the work that I do with the Phi Theta Kappa students. From the first group of officers that I worked with, I'm still in touch with, making that connection with the students. That's how we keep retention at the college.
The best day of the year is graduation. It's fun to see the excitement in the air, and the students are so happy they've accomplished something. Every person in that arena has been a part of it.
Coming to understand the great capacity that this institution has for changing the lives of our students, their families, the community, and the world in general.
We've heard these wonderful stories that have been shared with us that bring to life the history of this wonderful campus. I hope those stories inspire you as you go into this next academic year and into the next 60 years and make QCC part of history once more.